Hello, Internet. Camera. Welcome to Table for One, my supposed to be weekly stream where I play solo board games with myself. So, first, let me just get the bookkeeping out of the way. If you like what you're about to see, if you like other stuff that you've seen on the channel, go ahead and like it and subscribe it and click the bell and all the other whiz doodads that they tell you to do on these things. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, Table for One. I play solo board games because I enjoy them and it gives me some time to play games that I don't get to play. I've been off for a while, just hectic couple of months. But I'm back. I'm going to get some reviews done too. I'll get on myself about that too. Anywho, let's dive in. It's going to be probably a bit of a poop show just because I haven't done this in a while. So let's see what happens. Okay? For those of you watching in the future, feel free to click in the description for skipping ahead all of this chitter chatter. Okay, so let's go to our overhead view. Bam! Because tonight we're playing Unsettled. Yeah, so here we go. I was going to surprise everyone with this side camera view. Ooh, look at that. I got my board over here with all my other little doohickeys. Okay, so needless to say, here we go. We got Unsettled up on deck. Just got this from Kickstarter last week, I think it was. Super excited. I played it a couple times, and I really enjoy it. To the point where I have, in fact, painted the figures that it came with. Ooh. If you want to see a close-up of that, shameless plug, go check out my Instagram. There are photos, or there will be. I don't know. There's probably photos there somewhere. But go look. Boop, in the description, etc., etc. Okay, that's enough of that. So let's get this party started. First thing I need to do real quick, for those of you who maybe have never seen one of these streams, there's a little bit of the how-to to play because I kind of just narrate what I'm doing. But, you know, if you don't know how to play the game yet, maybe you'll pick it up over the course of this video. We shall see. Okay, so I've got I'm playing with two space people today because it's all my play space for streaming really kind of allows for until I upgrade to the master game table someday in the far future when I win the lottery. But I need to pick out their personalities. So via the rules, you pick two randomly. Let's just do these two and these two, and then you're going to pick one to keep. So let's see what our intrepid get in the box. Get in the box. It's the kind of professionalism you can expect to see more of on this channel. There we go. Ha-ha! Okay. So we've got caretaker or commander for my green one. I'm going to call her... Let's call her Skully, and we'll call him Mulder, because I'm unoriginal and trying to come up with stuff off the top of my head. So we've got we got commander and caretaker are our two little personality types that they could be. And then we've got, let's see, so I could replace her rest, require each turn a local explorer. Time goes up, but then they get to go focus up by 2, which is not bad. Or theorize. Another explorer rotates their insight block to match yours, then gains 3 insight. And, oh, the trust goes down by 1, though. I don't really like that. I think I'll go with caretaker. Could be shooting myself in the foot. But caretaker does seem to fit well with Skully. And then we've got Mulder, who is either a harmonist or a skeptic. Well, clearly I'm going to go with skeptic, because it's Mulder. X-Files in space. Okay. All right, let me get some tunes on for everybody. Where's my string beats? Where's my Harris Heller? Boop. All right. We should now have some tunes in the background. There we go. All right, so we got tunes in the background. We got a game on point. So this is Unsettled. The whole point is you're trying to survive. That's it. That's the game, is you're trying to survive. Here's the little setup cards and stuff. I will read those in a second. But yeah, we've crash landed. I don't know if we technically crashed, but we're out in the middle of nowhere on the planet of Wenora. So this game just oozes theme and beauty and all kinds of fun stuff. So here we go. We got the Wenora specific planet guide. Eventually, I'll have a review for this game up, and there are definitely reviews that exist as well already. So if you want to check those out as far as like the concept behind this, the framework as the game calls it, and then each planet is its own separate like entity essentially. It's really neat. It's a very cool premise. I highly recommend you check it out. That being said, let's dive in. So this is Wenora's planet book. Icky, sticky, beautiful. When we left Earth in search of bizarre, wondrous new worlds, this is exactly what we imagined. The circumstances are a bit more catastrophically on the verge of death than anticipated, but awe in the face of uncertainty is the essence of exploration. Strange, gargantuan fungal formations tower above us, swarming with alien creatures and dripping with bright liquids. Surfaces are covered in a mysterious, powdery substance. The air is thick, almost gelatinous, and there's an uncomfortable abundance of toxic-looking tendrils and suction cups. It couldn't be more alien. It took almost an hour of low-orbit scanning just to find a place to land, so dense is the fungal vegetation. With a world this full, it's impossible to imagine we won't find the things we need to survive. Whether those things kill us is another question entirely. Let's go touch stuff. I love the humor in this game. It's very subtle and wry and just all kinds of fun. So that is the planet Wenora. That's where we're trying to survive. And we are doing, so what they have is each planet has 3 scenarios. I'm doing survival task A, basically the simplest, the first one. I don't know if they're all ranked on difficulty, like A, B, C for all the planets, but at least for Wenora, which is the easiest, we start with A. Early onset hangriness. Again, the subtle humor in this game is just entertaining. Hello, sir, or madam, viewing the channel. The trauma of the wormhole event might be getting to us. The loss of most of the crew, critical damage to critical systems, and the really reality that we're unlikely to ever see any of our loved ones again. It's the little things that add up. So, we're shaken. Our energy is low and no one has really been eating, which in some ways has worked to our advantage as our food stores are lacking. We're not saying we recommend catastrophic banishment beyond the edge of existence as a diet plan, but we're not recommending it either. It's working for us so far, but soon the food thing is going to become a problem. Fortuitously, the long-range scanners uncovered this fungal jungle planet absolutely seething with bizarre organisms. And, as scientists, if there's one thing we know about organisms, it's that they're often tasty. Much terribleness has transpired, but none of that can be undone. We still, through luck, fate, or providence, have this ship and each other, and that's going to have to be enough. It will be enough. And if it's not, we have Luna, so we're set. Let's go get some grub. So there's our setup. Or there's our entertaining little early onset hangriness. So the setup I've already done. Configure the environment with the nodes and the scarab and yada yada yada. So just terminology wise, these are called nodes, the various places on the planet. The ship is the scarab that you have landed. And I have set up according to the map that you can't really see, but there it is right there. And then I'm just going to set this to the side because I don't really need this card anymore at the moment. So this game is just, it's filled with awesome design decisions and just aesthetically cool stuff. So all the little things over here that you can see, there's like little gray areas where there's supposed to be cards and decks and stuff. Due to my limited play space, I have all the cards kind of off camera-ish over here. So just bear with me as far as that goes. So this is the actual current task right here. It's a fungal out there. First impression, sticky. Follow-up impressions, about the same. We need to deploy our mobile science structures if there's to be any hope of us doing anything at all efficiently down here. The current scenario goal is to construct the laboratory, research hut, and workshop on open build sites. So that's those 3 doohickeys right here, those 3 little circles. I got to build those on the map when I find spaces to do so. So I think we're ready to just dive right in. The first thing I'm going to do is I've got my endurance track, my insight track, and this is where the breakthroughs will go. The insight track is where it matters. That's how I'm going to like learn science and stuff, apparently. I have played this game a couple of times in the last week, so I do know what I'm doing for the most part. I'm just talking like I don't completely know because I don't completely know. All right, so let's go with, I'll explain what all this stuff over here is. Ooh, look, it's magic. Sorry, I like my camera setup. It's working. Oh, yeah, look at that. I'm always paranoid that the sound isn't working or the video is frozen or whatever. So if you see me wave my hands, it's just to see if there's any lag in the video stream. Okay, so everybody starts with their personality type. Full endurance. When the endurance goes down to red, you're toast. And then insight is how you learn sciencey things. So to build the orange, blue, green, or red, blue, green. My wife says it's red. I think it's orange. I painted the guys orange because I think they're orange. In order to build those, you either need to lose some time or you need to have one of these little breakthrough chips, which is what you earn via the insight track. So I'm going to be focusing on blue, which is robotics for Skully here. And actually, I'm going to have her focus on chemistry because that's more Scully-ish. And then I will do engineering for Mulder because, it doesn't really matter. Mulder's not really into engineering or robotics, in my opinion. Granted, I haven't watched the show in forever. Anywho, welcome to the show that you're now watching. Pretty professional, huh? Okay, I think that's it. You guys will learn as you watch how this whole shenanigans kind of works. So I'm going to start. We'll start with Mulder. I'll just go left to right as far as my characters. So the basic play of the game is you have a move action where you can move one space. You have your quote-unquote Luna action, as I think of it, which is basically you can move Luna and try to harvest materials with her, or find materials with her. And then you have your 3 action cubes. These are how you do pretty much everything in the game. So I'm going to start with my Luna actions. I typically always start with my Luna actions because I feel like that's just the better way to do it. I could be completely wrong. So Luna actions are she can move once, and I'm going to have her move the 1 square. You can only move, what's it called? Orthogonally. So up, down, left, right. A, B, A, B, start. Let's see. Flip. We have found a field of hover blossoms. So she's going to go here. I'll put her up in the corner. So the way this game plays is, I don't know how easy it is to see on the screen. I assume it's fine. I'm sure you guys can see everything the way that I do. But that being said, you can kind of see here maybe. I have the thing sleeved too, so it might be a little reflecty. There is an insight symbol, a little purple diamond, and a little time symbol, which means if a player, so Luna doesn't count for any of that stuff, but if one of my guys crosses over, going to gain an insight, he's going to learn something about the planet as he travels, but the time is going to go up. As the time goes up, it will circle around this track, and every time it circles, my team loses an endurance, which, again, to reiterate, if they hit red endurance, they have died on the planet, game over, do not pass go, do not collect $200. So Luna can move 1 space, and she has done so. I think of her as a she. It's really a they. Whatever. Now, the next step is we've got our data and our materials dice. Luna is now going to look on this particular node, the field of hover blossoms. They're going to look for... I'm going to have them look for data, which is the blue dice. So I roll this. Luna finds 1. I'm going to take one of these little blue datas from the supply. She finds 1 blue data on the node. That is my Luna actions for Mulder. Luna is now done. Now Mulder can do what Mulder's going to do. Well, he can't just sit on the ship. Mulder cannot sit on the ship. That's a little bit of a tongue twister there. Let me just adjust this camera. Not like you guys really need to see my face. It's all about the game. But, hello. Can you tell I talk a lot and fast? I will try to slow it down and be a little more calm to match the music that we're enjoying in the background. Mulder is going to do his 1 move to the field of hover blossoms. That is going to cost us 1 time as a group. That is also going to gain Mulder 1 insight point, so that goes up the track. And when it hits the top, he suddenly gets a breakthrough, a scientific breakthrough. So Mulder has moved. Mulder has done all his Luna stuff. So now Mulder has his cubes. The way the cubes work is they are your resources. So I have 2 points on each cube. And you can see, hopefully, if the camera's not too zoomed out, you can see that there are little up or down arrows in some of these spaces, indicating that you have to spin your cube up or down and basically lose a point or gain a point to do a certain action. 2 of the cubes can go anywhere you want. So there are actions on your board you can do. There is a Luna-specific action up here on this board. There are actions to harvest materials. Any of those you can do. It's an action, technically, to build these things up. Yeah. All of that are actions, 2 cubes of which you can do whatever you want with. The 3rd cube is required to go into your rest category. You're not allowed to push yourself to the point of exhaustion, I guess, is the thought. I don't know why. Maybe it's just functionally to make the rules simpler. The only thing planet specific, because each planet has its own rules as well, is in the planet of Wenora, when an explorer leaves a node. So when Mulder here goes over Yaw, there will become a spore marker in that space. If you start in a spore space, you will gain a distress card. Those are bad. They typically cause you to have problems, etc., etc. So, as of right now, what Mulder is going to do is Mulder is going to... in order to build those things, I'm going to need to gain insight. So, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to have Mulder traverse. I want him to move, which will potentially gain him some insight, but it also depends on the dice. So, you can put the cubes wherever you want, but if you put them in a color matching spot, so like this has a little red lightning bolt, or orange lightning bolt, because that's the orange die. So if I use the orange die here, I get a bonus, which is whatever's in this little space here. So I'm going to traverse. Cost me 1 point, because there's a little black down arrow, so I'm going to spin this down from a 2 to a 1. And then move and or carry a local explorer 1 node. Well, I can't carry Skully with me because she's not on the space yet, so I'm going to move Mulder here. 2 things happen. A couple things happen. First, I get the bonus insight because I used an orange cube here, so my insight goes up by 1. I'm going to flip over this tile, this node, and nothing happens for crossing because it's a blank and a blank. I come upon the electromagnetic polypore maze. Very fancy. It says, when entering, if you possess rare polymers, that's this yellow box down here, I would gain 2 power in my little power tray doohickey. So, I do not possess rare polymers. That's stuff you find adventuring. It's kind of up here off camera. Again, I don't have a lot of space. But you'll see it. Those are the opportunities, which we'll get to when I do them. But that was my traverse action. I do spawn a spore cloud, which are these little black cubes. They're just kind of generics. Probably going to be pretty hard to see. I'll try to put on a light spot of the thing. So there's a little spore cloud cube indicating that if you start your turn, let me just double check. Yep, when they start their turn. So Skully will be fine for next turn, but will be a little hosed if she stays there. So I have 1 cube left for Mulder. That can be whatever I want. And in this case, I'm just going to use the Skeptic cube. I'm going to use Skeptic. I'm going to use my blue cube. There's no arrow in here, meaning the cube stays where it's at, which is not too bad. So this lets me gain either +1 blue, +1 orange, or +1 green. So I can gain a data, a material, or a power, I believe. Let me just confirm, because I don't think I've used this one before. What is that? That is Skeptic. Let's see if it's in the FAQ. Planet specific, iconography. Where's the slash? I assume it means pick 1, because if it's pick more than 1, that seems a little broken. Oh, neat. I didn't even realize they gave you a little cross section of the ship. I gotta read more of this manual, man. That's pretty cool. Yes, I'm gonna assume the slash is in either or, because otherwise it feels like that would be super broken. And the game is all about surviving. It's not supposed to be easy. I'm going to take since she found a data there, I'm going to take a material. So it goes from the generic supply into our resource pool. Meow. Okay, so my last action for Mulder has to be rest. So I'm going to put the green cube there. There's a little up arrow, so it goes from 2 dots to 3. The time goes up by 1. And that is Mulder's turn. So now the last thing I do is I can't remember, refocus, ready? I can't really remember. But I take all the cubes off his board to indicate that he is done. Now it becomes Skully's turn. I'm going to start with Skully by... I'm going to have Skully move Luna in one space here. And Luna finds for Skully the Spongy Trumpet Swamp. If you possess the fungal host trait, it gives you an extra action ability on that space. And I will have Luna, since she's there, look for materials, since we looked for data already. Luna finds 2 materials on the Spongy Trumpet Swamp. Skully's now going to activate. Skully's going to move 1, which costs us a time, but gains her an insight. She's then going to move another... so that was her 1 move. She's going to traverse, spinning that down to 1. It gives her an insight because I used the correct color. And she's going to move an extra 1, which gives her another time, which isn't great, but there's not a lot of time spaces off of here, which is sort of helpful. But it also gives her 2 insight, 1, 2, which puts her at the top so that she will be able to get a research breakthrough relatively quickly. But that is the Luna stuff. That is Skully's move and 1 of her cubes. Skully is going to harvest with Luna, which is these actions over Meow. So Skully is going to harvest with her green die. It's down 1 arrow, so she's going to lose 1 point, putting it down to 1. However, as I said, all cubes, they typically match their the actions that they can do, and if you match colors, you get a bonus. So in this case, when you place a cube to collect a material, you get to pick 1 of those items up off the board that Luna is in. But because I used a green, trying to pick up a green, I get to pick up 2. So I now have 3 materials in our storage supply. And then Skully has 1 cube left, which has to be rest, but she is caretaker, which is slightly different. Required each turn, a local explorer is going to gain time, because you just always gain time. And then she's going to gain 2 focus. I'm going to focus up the orange cube and the green cube. And then that is her turn. These come off. I'll put them up here. And she is sitting on 2 for everything again, because that is great. There is no... You only get 1 spore cloud for leaving a spot, so that one just kind of sits there. So that is 1 full round of play. Mulder and Skully have gone. So now we start again. It is now Mulder's turn. Mulder is going to do Luna first. I was playing with my wife and son, and granted, they're not gamers like I am, so they're just kind of running around the map doing whatever, but they always kind of save Luna for the end. I think Luna's best kind of up front, usually, to help you explore the map. Because, for instance, I don't know if I want Mulder going this way, because it's going to cost me time, but there could be garbage over here. So I'm going to have Luna come tell me what is on that node. And it is the Crystalline Forest. So not really too much worthwhile, although there is a build site. That's what these little white circles are. They kind of match the shape of the buildings. So when I'm able to build something, I will be able to do so on one of those spots. So that's good. So that was Luna. I'm going to have her search for data, because we've got a lot of materials at this point. And Luna finds 2 data in the Crystalline Forest. And now Mulder is going to... I don't want to spend time unless I have to, because it costs me endurance. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to have Mulder investigate, which is this one right here. So pursue an opportunity on your node. So first I'm going to spin this down from a 3 to a 2, because it's a little down arrow. I gained an insight because I matched the color of the die. Now, what I'm going to do is show you what exploring an opportunity is, because that's what I just did. So up at the top of the screen, you could just barely see, because again, I don't have a lot of space on my play surface when streaming. But you can see there's a pink little moon thingy here. It's actually a full little disc. It's kind of cool looking. There's a pink one of those and a blue one. And then I've separated, there's a stack of opportunities over here and a stack of opportunities over here that match up to the red or the blue disc. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick one of those. Whatever opportunity I pick is going to be that color ability. You'll see. It makes sense when I do it. So first, I take one of these little investigate tokens. It's little white tokens in the tray up here. Yeah. This just goes on the tile because you can only investigate a tile once. You can investigate multiple times. There's plenty of tiles, obviously, but I can only investigate the electromagnetic polypore maze for one opportunity. So now, the randomization is I either pick the blue side or the pink side, and I take that opportunity to see what I want to explore. So, let's see. I'll go with blue, because that's what Mulder's wearing at this point. So I take the blue disc and pop it onto the space. So I know that this is where the opportunity is currently aroused. Pardon me. Okay. Azure Paste Rift. A series of fleshy tubes peel open their tops, revealing pools of bright paste and emitting a strange energy. A mold-covered creature stops to investigate. When it touches the paste, it vanishes, reappearing moments later with a hardened crystalline shell and several companions. If they can do it, immediately gain 2 energy if able. Well, I am able because our supply of power is not empty. So we just gained 2 power. And then I'm going to put it on this side. Like I said, I don't have a lot of space, so I'll put it over by these cubes. You can kind of sort of see it. So this gives me, can't really see it, but this gives me an action I can now do. Open a little cube there. Plunge arms deep into the paste. If I do that, and all it is just spinning a cube and spinning it down, then I gain the botanical crystals item thingy doodle, which is up here. I know, all these complicated terms. So here's the full tray. Again, the layout design of this game is phenomenal. But I would gain the botanical crystals chit from up there. And along with that, I get an anomaly card, which is, it gives me cool little powers or something. And then place all other explorers onto this node. All explorers gain an insight, and one of their cubes can spin up 1. Well, that is fantastic. That is an awesome thing, and I happen to have a cube available to do so. So I'm going to take the blue cube, put it there, and spin it down to 1. When I do, I'm going to gain this is the part I always get confused on, is I believe it's after all of this stuff is said and done, I get it at the end. So like I can't gain it and then immediately use it, is I guess what I'm trying to get at. Let's see. Completing an opportunity, taking advantage, can be done if you're in the moment, which means I'm on the same space as the blue doohickey. Opportunities remain until they're completed. When you take the action on the card, immediately resolve its effects. Your focus remains set on the opportunity, and the opportunity is a moment until you regroup at the end of your turn. At that time, the opportunity is considered complete. Discard the opportunity and return the moment. Okay, so I do get all the stuff, but my die still stays there till the end of the turn, essentially making sure I remember, hey, you can't use that cube again. So I gain the botanical crystals, which is this thing. This little chit is tied to one of the anomalies I'm going to find. And the anomaly I find is fungal host. So you can see the cards. Go to this camera over here. Ooh, so the cards have a little indent there because it means that the botanical crystals are what are making me currently a fungal host, which is what it says right up there. And then it says I have to have a scientific breakthrough of chemistry in order to discard power, but if I discard it, I won't be a fungal host anymore. So it's kind of a what's worth keeping, what's worth not keeping. So I'll put this here. Mulder is a fungal host, which doesn't really surprise anyone. And then that says remove 1 spore cloud from your node and or from 1 adjacent node. So I can discard it if I have chemical engineering mastery in the same space as me. And if I do that, then I can get rid of spore clouds, which is not bad because, spore clouds cause bad stuff, distress as it were. Place all other explorers onto this node. So Skully teleports over here. All other explorers gain an insight, so Mulder's goes up by 1. Skully's hits the top of the track and gets her a comprehension. So what that means is she takes one of these little green doohicks, showing that she's had a scientific breakthrough in chemistry. She will then draw a scientific breakthrough card for chemistry. She has discovered how to swallow the unsavory glop. Not exactly sure Gillian Anderson would be super keen on that, but it's kind of funny. So, Slide this over a little bit. There we go. There's her scientific discovery of swallowing unsavory glop. A local explorer may get rid of one distress, but it costs me 1 material to do so. Not a big deal. So finally, Mulder is going to rest because he has to. So this spins up to 2. The time goes up by 1. So over here we can see the time has now wrapped around the track, which means all the explorers lose 1 endurance. So now we are going to, let's see, that's the end of Mulder. So he's going to focus up. He's going to reset, as it were. So all the cubes come back, which means the opportunity is now complete. So this is going to go to the bottom of the deck on that side. And the little blue opportunity disc goes back where it was. And so then Skully, before her turn happens, she gets to pick a new focus if she wants, and she's gonna. Since he's focusing on engineering, I'm gonna have her start to focus on robotics, which is the little blue cube. Okay, so that was Mulder's very successful, I'd say, turn, which now means it is Skully's. So we do need to build stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have Skully move here. I'm then going to have her do her Luna turn. Luna is going to go up this way. And because, again, the whole point of this part of the scenario, and if I wasn't clear on this, the scenario is like 4 cards. So, like, there's a bunch of stuff I got to do. The first of it is just getting these buildings built. So Skully's going to move up 1 with her move action. She's going to move Luna up with Luna's move. Have Luna search for materials, because why not? Oh, that's cut. Luna finds 1 material. And then Skully still has her 3 cubes left. One of her cubes is going to be, the color doesn't matter, so let's see. I'm going to have Skully theorize with her blue cube. It spins down to 1 point. However, because it's blue, she gains an insight. But it says another explorer gains 1 insight. So Mulder is going to get his breakthrough in engineering. So he's going to get an orange card. He's learned how to use an attempt long-range node swap. So, let's see. Costs 1 power. Roll the blue data die to determine your range. You may swap places with Luna if she is within that range. That's pretty cool. So that's going to go there. It costs me a power, which I have a couple of, so that's cool. And then I'll have him start focusing on... I'll have him focus on chemistry this time. And then she gained her insight already, so that's fine. So that was her 1 cube. Her second cube, because again, color doesn't matter, is going to be, I'll do green for green over here. Because she has the green scientific doohickey breakthrough, it means she can build this without having to spend the time. So I'll just put that there. And then she'll rest. So this die doesn't spin up. However, time goes up by 1, and then she can spin 2 up. So she's going to spin the blue up to a 2 and the orange up to a 3, because why not? And then she's done. So these cubes come off. She's readying up, as it were. This spins over to the laboratory. So now, anywhere on the board, we now have the ability to spend a green material, anybody can, to increase our focus by 1, which is pretty huge. Doesn't matter how she left. She did technically leave that node, so there's a spore cloud there. That is her turn. So far, so good. Knock on wood. Mulder is going to activate. Mulder has his red breakthrough, or orange, excuse me. Don't want to forget that, because I'm going to first have Luna activate and move to this node to see what's up here. Oh, and we have glowing lichen caves. There's nothing there. However, there is a build site, which is huge, and potentially can teleport with Mulder's attempt long-range node swap. So, 1, 2, 3. I need to roll a 3 to get that to work, though, which I don't want to do. So, anyways, I'm going to spend the one time. Okay. Oh, well, so hold on. I moved Luna. See, this is the thing. It's not so hard to keep track of all the actions. It's just making sure you do things in the order you want to do them in. So I'm going to have Luna look for material. I'll have her look for data. She finds 1 data in the glowing lichen caves. So that's great. That's fantastic. So now Mulder is not going to... He's going to move once as his move action. So he's going to increase the time because of the little time symbol. He then has the mechanical. So he's going to put his blue on that one to build the workshop in that space. Okay. So then he is going to... He's going to use his green on Skeptic to theorize. And he is going to... I'm going to gain a blue. And then I'm going to rest, which spins us up to a 3, and the time goes up by 1 again. So now, that brings us to the end of his thing. So this pops off, this pops off, this pops off, because he has now built the workshop. The workshop allows us to spend a power to propel Luna from anywhere 1 space. I'm going to do that at the start of Skully's turn, before Skully actually goes, because things are essentially immediate for anything other than cube usage. To propel Luna 1 space this way. That way we can see what's under here. And, ooh, that's perfect. Because what that means is Skully has clear line of sight over to that doohickey to be able to build something. And she's close on the robotics, because that's what I need left. Okay, so... But that was Mulder. That's still Mulder's... Or no, Mulder went, built that. I see I'm getting confused already. So it's Skully's turn. Skully is going to theorize with her blue. So that goes down by 1 to 1, which lets her go up by 1, and it also lets Mulder go up by 1. Then she is going to move once, gaining an insight because of the space she crossed. She's then going to traverse with her orange die. Spins down to 2, but it gives her another insight to allow her to move over here. Look at that magic, which gives her an insight for gives her 2 insight for crossing this path to this path. So she's going to go 1 to loop around, and then she's going to go 2, and I'll have her kind of get the trifecta. So first, she gets Robotics Mastery. She starts, so she was here, she went 1. No, she was here. She went 1, 2, so she's working on engineering now. I have no dice. I call them dice. They're technically cubes. I have no cubes left to be able to build the last station that I need, so I'm just going to rest with that die. The time goes up by 1, and then I'm going to spin the blue up to a 2, and the green, I'll spin the orange up to a 3. Then these come off. I'm going to use my Luna turn, because I did that out of order, sort of. I'm going to move Luna here. She's going to look for materials. She can't look for data because there's already a data cube there. I almost forgot. There is a spore cloud here because they left, and there's a spore cloud here because she left. And then look for materials with Luna. Luna finds 1 material. Poop. I better pick that up or I'm going to lose it forever. Let me just see. Oh, I've dropped it in a place where I can pick it up. Pause. There we go. Disaster averted. Okay, so that was Skully's Luna action. She already did all her stuff, so now it's back over to Mulder. Come on, Mulder. So, Mulder is going to... I really don't want to increase the time too much if I don't have to. So Mulder is going to attempt to... He might just stay put a little bit. Mulder is going to investigate with his green die. So this spins it from a 2 to a 1. But I do gain an insight for doing that. And I'm going to investigate pink this time, since I did blue the last. And in the crystalline forest, Mulder... Oh, investigate token, to know that I cannot investigate there anymore. Mulder finds screaming glow frogs. Before use, hit dozens of small amphibious creatures, half submerged in a colorful pool. They are perfectly still, perfectly silent. They stare, unblinking. Then, the screams begin. Immediately, each local explorer gets 2 focus. So I'll go ahead and spin up the green and the blue. And then I have the available action to grab a specimen, and I'm going to do that right away since I can. I'm going to use my blue die because it matches the color on the card. So I spin that down to a 1. Because I use the blue that matches, I get an extra insight. And then immediately I gain the glow frogs and another insight for having completed that opportunity. So I find the glow frogs, and they are very powdery glow frogs. So they give me the powdery listing, which just sounds silly. I will organize this in a minute, but I'll put that right there for now. So if a space looks for powdery, it will allow me to use it. And then on top of that, if I discard it, as long as I have robotics in the space with me, all explorers within one node lose a distress. So that's a pretty good card for later on. And then my last cube is going to be to rest. Unfortunately, it's my 3, which doesn't do anything because it just bounces up. So all that happens is I gain a time, and that is that. So my cubes... Oh, I do have Luna. I keep forgetting. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to move Luna once there. And then I'm going to have her search for data. There's 1 data in that space. Now the Luna turn is done. I will then... I will be done. So, the opportunity just goes back. My cubes go back. Because this opportunity has been accomplished. So that goes to the bottom of the deck. And let's see, I think that's it for Mulder. I'm going to take the hoodie off because I'm getting warm in the basement. Let's see. Yeah, I think that's it for Mulder. Okay. That brings us to Skully. Well, Skully is going to take her very first action. I'll use the orange cube, because it doesn't matter, to build the last structure, the research hut. Because she has blue, so it doesn't cost me time. I could have built these earlier, but I didn't want to burn my time, because that's how the endurance goes down. When all 3 science structures have been built, advance. So technically it's been built. I have built it. So I'm going to go ahead and advance it. Maybe technically I'm not supposed to do it till after the end of the turn, but whatever. Flizah. Rumble in the fungal. So, a massive embryonic sac has spawned in a nearby swamp. Which, you know, good for it. Help yourself, sac. Except now it's churning out crawly, tentacled creatures. We're not sure we like that. However, Luna determines that the tiny tentacled creatures feed on toxic protozoans within the spore clouds, which is great because those were becoming a problem. Also, the tentacles are very, very sticky, which seems pretty on brand for this place. Place the cephalopod nest token on the swampy quagmire node. So that's this big old beast right here. There's the swampy quagmire. Blah, blah. And then... Then stack all 11 tentacle tokens in a grotesque heap on top. Well, they didn't have to call it grotesque. The imagery is more than enough on the tokens, but grotesque it is. So let's grab all these. That's what this little section on the board is for, is to place all the planet-specific tokens you might need. Again, I cannot stress enough how amazingly put together the design of this game is. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. Did not leave any in the box. There we go. Got a big old stack of tentacles. About to become a hentai movie up in here. Okay, so that's the Next piece, rumble and the fungal, because now, number 5, this is the goal right here. Tiny tentacles feed on spore clouds. We would like there to be less spore clouds so our suit's filtration systems don't fail. It's a good thing we're scientists and can connect these dots. Like I said, the humor, also on point. When an explorer leaves the node adjacent to the cephalopod nest by any means, a tiny tentacle sticks to them. Place a tiny tentacle in their inventory. When an explorer with a tiny tentacle enters a node with a spore cloud, they gain distress as normal. Then the tiny tentacle consumes the spore cloud. Replace the black spore cloud marker with the tiny tentacle token. Place the removed spore cloud marker onto a box on this card. Spore clouds cannot spawn on nodes containing a tiny tentacle. Sure. We must deliver tiny tentacles to 4 spore clouds to consume them. When consumed, move the spore cloud markers here. Okay, so I think this came up in something already, but leaves the node as when an explorer starts their turn, if there's a spore cloud on their node, they gain 1 distress. Okay, so this was the part that I think there was a brief mention that there was a defect. You know what? I'm going to look this up real quick because I literally just saw this on Facebook. Sorry, folks, you gotta wait. You gotta wait while I look stuff up. But like I said, I'm playing with myself. Let's see. Where is the Unsettled board game group? Haha, search. Wenora. Is this where I just saw it? Nope. Nope. There we go. Clarification. Ha. Travelogue, if you begin your turn, the second or third part says when you enter. Yes. Okay. Typo error, and it should remain start your turn, not when entering. Yep. That's what I thought. I knew I'd read it. I have not actually remembered it, though. I did not process it because I read it during the day. Okay. So, typo on this card, when you enter, you don't gain a distress. It's only when you start your turn, which makes it slightly easier. So, not too bad. All right, so basically, I got to get over here to get a tentacle, and then once I get a tentacle, I drag it around with me to get rid of spore clouds. So, I want spore clouds now, which is not great, but I'll do my best. So, first, I'm going to move Luna here. And if you're thinking... Oh, we got the monolith spore pillars here. If you're thinking to yourself, hey, I thought Luna could just pick them up and run around because who cares? Well, Luna doesn't act as a character for anything, even the good stuff. So I can't just have her fairy spore clouds around, or tentacles around, as much as that would be fun. I will have Luna look for data because we still need some. Ooh, a big fat 3 on that space. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so that's my Luna action for Skully, who has built the thing up there and turned this on. Skully is then going to move down, because it doesn't cost her time, leaving a spore cloud in her wake. She's then going to move here via traversing. I don't get my orange one, unfortunately, so I'll just use green and spin it down to a 1. Because my insight, I don't get the bonus insight. But I get 2 insight for going boom, boom. Oh, no. Mulder, stand up. All right, so I gain 1, 2 insight for crossing that threshold. And then I have to rest. So that's going to go here. I'm going to spin up my green and my blue. And then the time cycles around, so the endurance for everybody goes down by another 1. We are slowly dying on this cursed fungal planet. And that is going to be my turn with Skully, I think. Actually, I'm going to spend my last power to use the attempt long-range node swap. No, not that. To do the workshop, the propel Luna. So I'm going to move Luna here because I want to see what I'm getting myself into. The Myoxgastria Ball Pit. Fancy. When entering, if you possess rare polymers, gain 2 power. That's pretty cool. All right, so now Skully is done. All the cubes come off. We now have access to the research hutch. Apply data anywhere. Apply data anywhere. Hold on. What does that mean? I've never actually built the thing. So, I don't know. Spend 1 data, gain an insight. Oh. I should just look at the symbols and not read the apply data. Anywhere, anywhere, anywhere. I was overthinking it, as I often do. So I can spend a blue cube from the supply just to gain an insight, which is pretty huge, actually. Okay, so that was Skully. Now it's Mulder's turn. Mulder is going to move Luna 1 here, which finds the viscous egg pools. Mulder is then going to spend his orange cube over here, spin it down to a 2, but because it's orange matching orange, I gain 2 power. I'm then going to use the workshop, spend 1 of those power to move Luna over Meow. See, look at that, look at that. Now I know where I'm going. And now I'll just have Luna find some data. Another 3, look at you go, Luna. So there's 3 there. All right, so now I'm going to move Mulder 1. Nothing happens for crossing nodes. Entangle, remove all distress. Well, I don't have any distress, so that's fine. I'm going to use my blue die. Let's put that on the data. Spin it down to the time symbol. Because it's blue matching blue, I get to pick up 2 from Luna's spot instead of 1. And just to be clear, again, it's because Luna's in the spot. It has nothing to do with Mulder being there. And then I will go ahead and Spore Cloud from the space I left. I will go ahead and move Mulder 1 with my... oh, no, I can't. I already used my 2 dice, so I have to rest. So I'm going to rest here, which spins my green up to a 3. The time goes up by 1. And that is Mulder. So his cubes come back. And it is now Skully's turn. Skully is going to move 1 to here, which leaves a spore cloud in her wake. She's then going to traverse. I'll use the orange die, spin it down to a 2, but I gain an insight for doing it that way, to move an extra 1 here, and move and or carry a local explorer 1 node. So I think I'm going to bring Mulder with me, but let me just double check. Well, I got to check 2 things. 1, I got to see if I bring Mulder with me the way I think I do, which you would think, it does make sense. But if I get to bring him with me, does he get the stuff? I've never actually hauled anybody with this action before, so I got to figure it out. Decrease the focus. Take an additional move action following all the regular movement moves. If an effect or ability has increased your movement, the traverse action is similarly affected. You may carry another explorer using this action. If you do, only you resolve node edge symbols. Okay, that's what I thought. So I'm going to bring Mulder with me, but he does not get the bonus insight for crossing the threshold. So Skully gets another insight, which unlocks an engineering breakthrough for her. Let's go ahead and take this little token. Y'all. She can now discharge a hormonal blast. Oh, Skully, you minx. An explorer within 1 node of you may take a standard traverse action for free. That is pretty darn awesome. I'm going to theorize with Skully. Hold on. So I now have to pick the next track. Since it's Skully, I'm going to have her do chemistry again. And then I'm going to theorize with Skully, which is spin that down, but it's a blue matching a blue. So she's going to gain an insight for doing that, and Mulder gains an insight, which cleans up, finishes up his chemistry breakthrough. So he's going to draw a chemistry card, and he can now apply a gooey fungal salve. A local explorer gains +1 focus and is immune to distress from spore cloud effects this turn. Which is not bad, but so far has not been a problem. Oh, we left a spore. We left the space. Gotta add the spore cloud. Boop. Okay, so that was her traverse action. Then she theorized, and now she's going to rest. She's going to use the rest action to spin up the orange and spin up the blue, and the time goes up by 1, and then these come off. And I think technically I did Luna with her, but honestly, I can't remember, and Luna's not really super necessary right now. But so, on my turn as Mulder, I will move Luna first just so I remember. I will then find one material up there. I will now use Mulder's orange over here to gain 2 power, because we got a couple of engineerings that allow us to move a lot, which I like a lot. So, okay. Mulder has done his Luna. He's used 1 cube. Mulder's going to move 1 to here, which doesn't give him any node stuff, doesn't have rare polymers to get the extra power. But when Explorer leaves the node adjacent to the cephalopod nest, a tiny tentacle sticks to them. Okay, so he left this space, so there is a spore cloud here. And that was just his move action. So now he's going to traverse with his green. And when he does, he's going to bring a tentacle with him. I'll just put that on his board. A spore cloud now is in that spot. And then when an explorer with the tiny tentacle enters a node with a spore cloud, then the tiny tentacle consumes it. So replace the black spore cloud marker with the tiny tentacle. So basically, he goes here, bloop, and the tentacle eats the spore cloud, which goes on this card. And once I fill the card up, when an explorer with the tiny tentacle enters a node of spore cloud, it goes there. Replace this marker with the tiny tentacle token. Place the remove spore marker onto a box in this card. Cannot spawn on nodes containing tiny tentacles, so now I've got to do the other ones. But that was Mulder's turn. He's got a rest, so it spends the time 1 up to a 1, and the time goes up by 1. Okay, so that is Mulder's turn. Yes, that is. Hold on. Mulder is going to spend a power to use the workshop ability to move Luna up 1 to find the incandescent slime river, and then he's going to spend another power to move her again. I want to see what the map is so I know where I'm doing. She found the Anthozoic forest. Okay, so I got the map. I know what we're doing. I just got to clear these spores out. Okay, so that is Mulder's turn. The cubes come off. People jumping in the middle of this, if they skip around, are not going to know why the hell I'm calling these people Mulder and Skully. But if you want to know, you should like and subscribe to the channel and all that jazz. It does help me grow, so subscribe would be great. It's a lot of talking, a lot of yapping. Enjoy some music while I enjoy some water. Okay. All right, so we've got Mulder done. Perfect. I am going to use my Skully action to move Luna 1 and have her search for... I'll have Luna search for data. Why not? Luna finds 3 data. Bloop. Okay. I'm now going to have Skully move once. I'm going to have Skully traverse with a orange, so her insight goes up by 1. She's going to leave this space with a tentacle on her, but then enter this space with the spore cloud, and the tentacle eats it. Oh, that's what these little circles are for. Bloop, bloop, bloop. Bloop, bloop, bloop. Skully will then... Oh, Mulder has not gained insight yet, but Mulder is going to now focus on robotics, because he doesn't have robotics yet. Actually, Mulder's going to focus on engineering again, because these engineering ones are both pretty damn good. Because robotics... Oh, did I get a robot? Oh, she's supposed to get a robotics card. Haha, Skully, you dummy. She's able to deploy a mini tractor beam. Luna pulls an explorer from an adjacent node onto her node, ignoring all node edge symbols. Oh, holy guacamole. All right, so I should have held on to that. All right, I'm gonna do engineering for Mulder again though, just cause. So, anyways, Skully traversed. Skully is going to Skully is going to put a power in here because we need those. Rotating down to a 2, and then Skully's going to rest. Just going to spin up the green and the orange, and the time goes up by 1, and that is Skully's action. Okay, because Skully is going to no, that's going to be it. Skully's done because now Mulder's going to activate. Skully, so you can use your action e-card things. You can use them on anybody's turn. It's just a once per turn thing. So basically, it is Mulder's turn, and I'm also saying this so I don't screw up the turn order in my mind since I'm playing two characters. At the start of Mulder's turn, Mulder is going to have Luna look for energy or materials, because why not? And she finds 2 on that node. So Mulder is not starting his turn in a spore cloud space. The reason I highlight that is because now I'm going to spend 1 of the data from our supply into the general supply to have Luna pull and explore from an adjacent node onto her node, ignoring all node edge symbols. So Luna pulls Mulder here. He didn't start his turn in the spore cloud, so there's no distress card I got to worry about. Now Mulder on his turn is going to take 1 action, is going to use his move action, which brings along a tentacle. And then on his turn, he's going to traverse, spitting that down to the time symbol, getting an insight because he matched orange to orange to gain the extra move over to here, which is another insight for crossing the node edge. And then the spore cloud is now replaced, and that goes on the card here. The spore cloud is now replaced with this tentacle. And I have to imagine these tentacles are going to be bad later, but for now, they're pretty great. And then Mulder is going to use his green over here to gain a power. And then the blue is going to rest, which spins it up to a 2, and the time goes up by 1. And Mulder is done. I do have Luna, who is going to sit there because no, hold on. Okay. Luna is going to do okay, no, we're good. We're good. Okay, yeah. So I'm going to spend 1 of the data to have Luna do the deploy mini tractor beam. No, I did that on Mulder's turn. So, okay, yes. So Luna's going to stay there. I'm not going to move her. At the start of Skully's turn, I spend the analyzed data. I spend the data cube to pull Skully over here. Skully has already started her turn, so she doesn't take the distress card. Skully will now move using her regular move action over here, bringing the tentacle with her. Can you see where I'm going with this? Because I think it's going to work. She is then going to... So she has done her regular move. Luna hasn't done anything yet. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to have... I feel like... I haven't read the other scenario card, the task card, so I don't know. I feel like if I bounce over here and get rid of this spore cube, it's going to turn into like, now you have to fight the spores, and they're all right here. So I kind of don't want to do that. I kind of want to spread them out a little bit. But that could also be bad. I don't know. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use my Luna action to move 1. I'm going to then use my workshop and spend a power to move Luna here. I'm then going to... I'm then going to use my deploy tractor beam, use the last of the data to pull Skully here. I'm then going to traverse, because I moved with Skully already. I'm going to traverse with Skully. So that 3 becomes a 2. I gain an insight. I'm going to move Skully to... Oh, Schneipel. So, hold on. I pulled Skully. She walked back, which would have been a time. Endurance goes down. Aha, see? I was going too fast for myself. Okay. So then Luna pulls her up here. I'm then going to have Skully traverse this way. Nope, time symbol there too. Poop. Hold on. Hold on. I still like what I did. I'm just not going to have Skully traverse yet. Luna went there with all my shenanigans. I'm not going to take all that back. And hey, I'm playing the game by myself, so I can do whatever I want. I can walk back turns a little bit. But that being said, okay. I still like moving Luna where I did. Plus, I'm just not going to go back that far. I am going to traverse with Skully. So insight goes up by 1. She's going to come down this way because I don't have to worry about a spore cloud in those spaces. I can't traverse again. Oh, I'm going to spend a power to use the Discharge Hormonal Blast. An explorer within 1 node of you may take a standard traverse action for free. I am within 1 node of myself, so I'm going to take a standard traverse action over to here, which gets rid of that tentacle and spore cloud like meow. Okay, so all of that happened. I still have 2 cubes left. Luna is basically done, although I can search for stuff with Luna. I will search for data because I'm running low. Okay, so that all happened. Now we flip. No, 6, 5, yeah. So I flip it over. Welcome to the fungal. So trust goes up by 1. Now, trust is already at the max. This hasn't really come up because I've been playing well enough that my trust hasn't gone down. And since it's already in the positive side, I can't go up further. So what happens is I get 2 focus to distribute amongst my team. Now, Skully's doing pretty good on focus. Mulder could use some, so I'm actually going to spend this one up 2. And actually, Mulder's are supposed to come off because his turn was done. So those are all spun up. Good news, the spore clouds appear to be under control thanks to the tiny tentacles. Other news, tiny tentacles aren't really a thing anymore because the nest has matured into a teeming swarm of giant tentacle terrors. Surprise, surprise. I figured that would happen. Return all the tiny tentacle tokens back to the nest. They have now grown into a giant tentacle terrors that no longer feed on spore clouds and no longer have our respect. So these all come off. At the start of every single turn, place a tentacle token on the node adjacent to the nest, then move all tentacles not on the nest 2 spaces towards the nearest explorer. In the case of a tie, they move toward the tied option, who will next be or is currently active. If a tentacle terror reaches an explorer, it secretes its brain venom and explodes, causing 1 distress to that explorer. Return that token to the nest. Put that up there so I can keep track of the rules. We've got fungal games. Right, enough of this. It's time to get real about getting food and getting out. Obtain 6 materials from nodes using the unearth action, placing them in the boxes below. You may not use materials already in the stockpile. Once the boxes are filled, you may process them at the laboratory with the appropriate comprehension present. Okay, so what that means is I have to harvest green off the board with Luna. I have to do that to fill up these boxes. Once I've done that, I can then use this action, but I have to do it at the laboratory, and I have to have green, blue, and red present. Now, the green, blue, and red is not too bad because Skully has all 3, so I can just walk her butt over there. That being said, it's still not super great. So, Skully's already done all her Luna shenanigans, and she's already traversed. So I think what I need to do is, to be able to do extra moves, I need blue and I need orange. So I'm going to do, from Luna's space, I'm going to harvest a blue. So that goes down to 1. I'm going to take that and put it in here. I am then going to rest, because I have to. The time goes up by 1. And then I'm going to spend that up to a 3 and that up to a 2. And that is Skully's turn done. So now, at the start of every turn, so at the start of Mulder's turn, the first thing that happens is take a tentacle token, place it on the node adjacent to the nest, so that goes here. Then move all tentacles not on the nest 2 spaces towards the nearest explorer. So that would be 1, 2. So 1, 2. In the case of a tide, they move towards the tide option, blah, blah, blah. If a tentacle terror reaches an explorer, it secretes brain venom and explodes. Kapow. Causing 1 distress to that explorer. Return that token to the nest. So, distress. First time I've gotten one of these cards. Red card. Fwah! When gained, the trust goes down, so we are now distrusting. So, my skeptic goes instead from theorize to investigate. And my caretaker goes from rest to support. Okay, and then Mulder gets distressed. So this basically covers up any one thing that isn't the rest space. So I am going to... I want to be able to run, so I'm going to get cover up support. I find support is the one I typically cover most often with a distress card. I just don't use it very often. I don't know, maybe other people do when they play, but I just don't. I don't support myself. I don't like the trust loss. Okay, well that was great. So that's the start of Mulder's turn. So again, I need to collect green materials with Luna in order to do stuff. Okay, Mulder, what are you going to do? What are you going to do, sir? I'm going to do my Luna turn first to see how many materials she can find on that spot up there. A dinky 1, not great. Okay, I will go ahead and use my green die, spin it down to a 1. To gain that, it goes on the card instead of the box. I'm then going to move Luna 1. That's my move action stuff with Luna. I'm going to move Mulder 1, which I believe spawns a spore cloud. Nothing says it's any different. And then he will... How do I build trust? I need to build trust because his thing is great for getting the other power tokens and stuff. Skully is going to... spend a green to swallow some unsavory glop goo. That will remove the distress from Mulder. Good job, Skully. That's still technically Mulder's activation, though. I will then... Do I want to do my skeptic? Not really. I'm going to... I'm going to have Mulder use his orange to gain some power. So that goes down by 1. To gain 2 power over Mia. And then... I have to rest. I did my Luna stuff already, so yeah. So I'm going to rest. So this goes up to a 3. The time goes up by 1. And that is that. So he resets his focus, or whatever the term is. I can never remember. And then it is going to be Skully's activation. Skully is going to move Luna down here, 1, and look for materials, because I'm trying to get more than just 1. All right, there we go. So 2. Skully will then use her green dice, spin it down by 1 to gain 2, which will go to the card. Boop, boop. Skully will then haul her ass. She will. Oh, I don't want to spend any time. Ugh. All right, well, nothing for it. All right, she's going to do her regular move action to here, which causes the time to go up by 1. She's then going to traverse, which gains her an insight to give her 1 more action. So she's now at the lab. So she can do this action once we get the green materials on there. Yes. She has to rest. She doesn't have her good rest, though, because, unfortunately, I am untrusting of ourselves. So that goes up by 1. And Skully is done. And, I messed up, technically. At the start of Skully's turn, this should have gone 1 out here, and then it should have gone 1, 2. Okay. So, it will be the start of Mulder's turn, and he'll get ganked by that. But first, I'm going to spend a power to use Skully's Discharge Hormonal Blast. Mulder's going to walk 1, which increases the time. And then I'm going to do it again to make him walk here, because now, at the start of his turn, Tentacle pops out here. This one will go 1, 2. This one will go 1, 2. Okay, so I'm going to have Luna. So now it's the start of Mulder's turn. He's in this area for the distress. However, I'm going to spend one of these materials to use his Apply Gooey Fungal Salve. He's going to spin up his orange die by 1. And he's immune to distress from spore clouds effects this turn. So that's great. Okay. So. Let's see. Mulder can't do the building when this gets done, but he could try to harvest materials with Luna. So Luna's just going to sit there for now, and she's going to find 2 materials in that space. Mulder's then going to harvest those 2 materials onto the card. We're getting there, people. It's going to be close, but we're getting there. And then Mulder is going to theorize, spinning that down by 1. But it gets him and Skully at insight. Skully's going to gain another breakthrough in chemistry. She's going to learn how to drink the reeking sludge. Spinning a green, either you gain 3 focus or another local explorer gains 2 insight. That's pretty cool. However, it's not really helpful right this second. And then Mulder is just going to rest. So this 2 becomes a 3. The time goes up by 1. And yeah, these will come off. Okay, start of the turn. Before her turn technically starts, I'm going to apply a gooey salve with my last thing, which will let her spin a dice up. I'll spin up the green, and it will spin the dice up, and it will make her immune to the distress from the spore cloud, which is good. So now at the start of the turn, the tentacle pops out, and then all the tentacles move. So this one will go 1, 2. These 2 will go 1, 2, and pop. Now, in the case of a tie, they move toward the tied option who will next be or is currently active. So they're both going to move for Skully. So she's going to gain 2 distress cards, which is not great. So the first distress card makes the trust go down, but we're already at the bottom. So instead she gets -2 focus. So I'll lose a blue and a green. And I will cover up the traverse because I don't really need to go anywhere right now. And then the second one, I'm going to cover up the investigate. And then it says, the moment you have 2 or more distress, draw a hallucination card. It's the first time this has happened for me. Let's see what happens. Watch out, I am. Engaged fungal host. Let me remind myself what engaged means. Generally speaking, if you reveal a card with the word engaged on it, then you have become engaged. That card locks onto you until resolved. In the case of an opportunity, becoming engaged means the moment marker now moves with you and you're a living part of the opportunity. When you become engaged, place the card near your dashboard. So it's over here with her. If the card is an opportunity, place your miniature on the moment, blah, blah, blah. Cards that engage you will not always include a full breakdown of what engage means. Cards only have so much space in them. Treat engage like a trigger, prompt, or keyword. When you see it, follow all the rules. Most cards that engage you will have some type of ongoing effect, yada, yada, yada. Remember, every turn means every turn, not just yours. Engage cards all resolve differently, la, 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 la. If an action on engaged cards versus blah, 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 blah. Okay, let's see. Oh. Okay, so engaged fungal host. So Skully is now a fungal host. Not that it helps in her space. Hallucination. A wall of light approaches. When it hits, your suit disintegrates and you surge with supernatural energy. A flock of flying mushrooms encircle you, their mycelial wings leaving trails of light in the liquid breeze. One of them winks at you and flies away towards what looks like the scarab. You pursue. You must use all of your movement each turn to move toward the scarab using the most direct path. You are not required to use the traverse action, which I've covered up, so go fudge yourself. When you reach the scarab, you gain 3 insight and then reduce your distress to 1. So, technically, again, let's be clear here, you must use all of your movement each turn to move towards the scarab. However, I can do that on whatever order I want. I don't have to move first. I don't have to move last. So what that means, hopefully, is that, oh, and then I moved the truss down, I spun them. Oh, I got to spin these down again. So this one will go to 1 and this one will go to 1. What that means is I can still take her actions and then move. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do my Luna stuff. Luna finds 2 materials. I'm going to spin my green die down to a 1. 1 goes on the card, and because it's full, I'm going to assume that 1 goes into my pool. And then I'm going to use my other action die here, my blue. I'm going to spin that down to accomplish the process edibles action. Dun, dun, dun. So, all of these I assume go away, but let's see. A farewell to many arms. All things considered, what with us still being alive and all, this could have gone worse. Not stickier, couldn't have been stickier, but could have been worse. That said, it's probably time we try our hand at being alive somewhere else. The tentacle terrors continue each turn. Spawn 1, all move 2 spaces towards the nearest explorer. Get the crew, Luna and all explorers, onto the Scarab. As soon as the crew's aboard, congratulations, you've survived. Well, my move action for Skully has to be towards the Scarab because I am hallucinating. So now my distress goes down by 1. I will take it off of my traverse just in case it matters. The hallucination goes away because... Oh, wait, no. Discard this when you have less than 2 distress. Okay, there we go. So I'm no longer hallucinating. Oh, and then she would have gained insight. She wouldn't have gained insight, but I'll have her focus on whatever. It doesn't matter. Okay. These are just leftover spore clouds. I'm going to now start. So now she's going to rest. So that goes up by 1. And then these all come back. She technically can still move Luna, so she'll move Luna here. And then she's going to spend a power. No, a blue. No. Yes, she's spend a power using the workshop to move Luna 1 extra space. And then that is her turn. She is now done. That will bring us to the start of the turn with him. This guy is going to go 1, and then he's going to go 1, 2. This guy's going to go here and pop, giving him a distress. I'll put that on support. And then because that happens, the trust goes down by 2. Did I move the time up when I rested? I think I did. Even if I didn't, I'll do it now because I'm still going to make it. I'm going to make it. Oh my God, you guys. Okay. So now I'm going to spend a gooey salve to avoid the distress from starting my turn in a spore cloud. I already got the distress from popping. My Luna action is going to be to move Luna here. I'm then going to use my orange to gain 2 power. I'm going to then spend one of those powers to use the workshop action to move Luna onto the Scarab. I'm then going to use my move action. Oh, the time would have gone up for her moving onto the Scarab, and she would have gotten an insight, not that it matters. I'm then going to move 1 onto the Scarab as my move. The time goes up, but it doesn't matter, because boom. Yes, so about this food, we're not really hungry. We survive for now. There it is, people. I was not expecting it, because this game is supposed to be brutally hard. Let me caveat that with the fact that I'm playing by myself, so it's easy to coordinate strategy because it's just me. Also, I could technically adjust the difficulty if I want. Maybe it's harder with more people. I won't necessarily know because, again, I can only fit 2 people on my play space right now, so Mulder and Skully will be the ones. But yeah, they survived the first scenario of Wenora, so good job, Team X-Files, as it were. Yeah, that was awesome. I really, really enjoyed this game, if it's not abundantly clear. Here, let me get... So look at that setup. I like it. I might tweak it a little bit, maybe get a little more graphics on the screen so you guys can see more stuff, but otherwise I like it. So, ba-bam. Hello, internet. So, yeah, I hope you enjoyed the stream. I'm back. Hopefully I don't take any more weird, unexplained hiatuses. Not unexplained. I got bunnies. If you check the Instagram, you'll see pictures of them every once in a while. And yeah, it's just been hectic. You know, COVID is a thing, apparently, still. It's definitely a thing. I don't want to minimize that at all. But yeah, so I hope you enjoyed watching some Unsettled. I will definitely be playing this next week because I want to see what happens on Wenora Scenario 2. I'm going to view this. Oh, you might have just heard the furnace kick on, but whatever. It'll keep us nice and toasty. I'm excited to see what the next scenario of Wenora is. I think each planet will be a pair of explorers. Mulder and Skully will see what happens on planet number 2 if they manage to make it. And we'll continue their travails, and then once they've managed to beat all of Wenora, we'll move on to a different one. Because Unsettled has 6 planets, if you got all the expansions, which I did because I'm a nut. So, yeah. I'm kind of blathering on right now because I'm just excited. I wasn't expecting to win, if I'm being honest. Skin on my teeth, 1 endurance point left and halfway up the time track. Yeah, that worked out well. So, I hope you enjoyed. Like and subscribe and hit the bell and all the stuff you're supposed to do on YouTube. The big one is subscribe. If you can subscribe, it helps the channel grow. It helps me immensely. Lets me know you're out there. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Next week will probably be some more Unsettled. We'll see what Wenora has in store for us in Scenario B. I don't know where to look. So if it looks like I'm staring off into space, it's because the camera that I'm chatting into is a tiny one, and it's just on my desktop. Oh crap! So I keep losing track of where the teeny tiny light is to tell me to talk to you out in internet land. But yeah, subscribe, like, comment. If you want to see me play other stuff, I'll definitely be doing other solo stuff. Like I said, I'm going to be trying to get back into the weekly schedule. Wednesday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern, etc. But that's it. That's me. You don't need to listen to me anymore. So thanks for tuning in. Those of you watching in the future, I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you guys all later.